Crack open a cold one, kick back, and enjoy a week's worth of conversation from pop culture, sports, breaking news, and everything in between. Welcome to the Pine Room Podcast. At the beginning of the podcast each week, everyone on the show rolls a 20-sided die. The person who rolls the lowest number then becomes the moderator for that week's show, and it's their job to move the conversation along and switch from various topics or questions that can be found on the moderator's cheat sheet, or custom ones they've brought in themselves. If you have a question or a topic you'd like us to discuss, send us an email to contact@thepineroompodcast.com. Well, that's enough of that. Let's get into the show. You're listening to the Pine Room Podcast.
The intro. Reverberations.
Yeah.
All right, welcome in. It's episode 139 Pine Room Podcast. The old guys are here.
Yeah.
Matt, Jeff,
go.
Chris, and Coach here with you on the second week of December. Lots going on in the world today. It's good to be back with you fellas. It's been a while. We've been out. I've been out of town. People have had holiday things going on. So it's been quite a busy time of year, but we have an unseasonably warm day out there. It's going to get frigid by the end of the week. We got Christmas gatherings beginning, and I'm glad everybody's here.
Yeah.
Happy and well, maybe not happy. I'm not happy, but just safe and healthy. We'll go with that.
That's fair.
Jeff's team's in the playoff in college football, so that's a positive. Cameron Dragons are in the championship game Friday afternoon against Wahama. So lots going on around the world. We got the college football playoff, as I alluded to a minute ago. We got the NFL in full swing. We got Juan Soto making record money, and yeah. I guess it's time to say Merry Christmas, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Yeah,
Happy holidays.
Happy
Cheers.
holidays, and
Cheers.
by the time we have some drinks together.
To say this is a busy time is an unbelievable understatement.
Does
It's
it take
incredible.
away the fun?
That's always my argument. That's always my argument.
I feel like you guys can either agree or disagree. I feel like I dread some of this stuff, like having to go to gatherings and events and stuff. But once I get to them, I usually have a good time. If that sounds normal, like it's like it's like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna fit this in. I got to do 9 different things to get to where I'm going. But then when I get there, I'm usually glad that I went. At least if it's a holiday type party. But it can be overwhelming and daunting this time of year with all the shit you got to do.
I think that's fair. I think the problem that I have with it, because I usually enjoy it all, and you try to embrace the craziness, because obviously it's such a great time of the year. But the problem with it is, with it being so packed, is I feel like the season goes by so fast.
Absolutely.
So then the next thing you know, it's Christmas Day, and you really didn't, I guess, appreciate the lead up to it. I know we've tried in our household, and it doesn't work out very well. But like, I don't know how you guys feel. Like, I feel like sometimes, and these are strong terms, like Christmas Day sometimes is a little bit of a Debbie Downer, because that means it's over.
It's over.
It's over. So like, we've tried to embrace in the Doyle household of really truly enjoying the season of it. So once Thanksgiving hits, from that Thanksgiving to Christmas Day. But like you said, Matt, there's so much, or Mark said, there's so much that goes on in that month's time that, man, oh man, all of a sudden it's a blink of an eye and it's Christmas Day, and it's like, God damn, that sucks.
I feel like it was just Halloween.
That's 100%.
And then we go through, and Thanksgiving's already long forgotten about, and and here we go again. But yeah, once Christmas Day comes, it's like you take a deep breath, you just wait to take your Christmas lights down in a few days, and then if you like football, and like most of kind of like football, whatever, you know what I mean. If you follow sports, then you got your bowl games, and your obviously the playoffs this year, so that's a little bit of a different twist. But once that comes, the 25th comes, and you get up to New Year's Day, and it's like, okay, back to it, here we go. And then it's getting ready to take ground balls. It's baseball season. It's coming.
But I think the more people you know, the busier you're going to be, because everybody wants to have a gathering, wants to have a party, and that's nice. They want to do that and get people together. But then it starts between your company or wherever you work, then your friends' party, your relatives' party, your own things you want to do with your family. It literally eats up every day of the week. I mean, when I see an open night on my calendar at this time, it's unbelievable. I feel like that's a blessing.
Mix in all your sporting events too, Coach.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. If you're involved in sports too, it's just. And as you guys said, when that happens, then the days just fly by. It'll be New Year's Day, as you guys said before you know it.
But here's the question to allude to your point. Would it wouldn't be fun though to not know anybody.
Right. No, I get it.
You know what I mean? Like that would be kind of a sombering moment
Yeah.
too. Like if it, as much as we're bitching, I guess we're all blessed that we have family and we have friends to be able to do exactly what we're talking about. If you didn't have any of that, man, this time of year would actually kind of suck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you can see that in some people too.
Well,
we all know people that don't have families and don't have friends and don't have anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you kind of feel bad.
Without a doubt, it does.
Geez, this time of year is tough when you're spending, everybody feels like they got somebody they can spend Christmas and Christmas Eve with. Some people don't.
Yeah, that's really depressing. Because I always really, really enjoyed Christmas Eve. For me, it was just like a time just to relax. And I used to always go up to my mom's and things like that, and
peaceful.
But yeah, right. Have some wine and have some
no sports on, except maybe the Hawaii Bowl in the old days. But
yeah,
I always enjoy that part of it. Is like I don't have to. I can unplug completely from my job. I don't have to worry about any bets coming in, or you know what I mean. I could just calm down for a few hours.
And then you think, like you said, the people that don't have that's got to be really depressing.
Now, do you think there's some people out there, unfortunately, that have driven everybody away from that?
I would say yes. I could name a few right now.
That is unfortunately they're their own demise, where they don't have anybody to hang out with, or whatever the case might be. I'm sure there is plenty of those people as well. There's no doubt about that.
No, and Jeff, and you talked about how the season just goes so fast. And sometimes you don't even, it goes by. You kind of forget to appreciate it. That's why, and people get on me about it, but that's why I'll start listening to Christmas songs maybe after Thanksgiving.
You were listening in October.
Well, every now and then.
That's too early.
Just to extend the season out, Chris.
Yeah,
kind of thing? I respect that. I do.
But there's other people that don't like Christmas music. Some people I know just,
you and Cooley.
Yeah, I don't get that, kid. But anyway, but people that they only like the Christmas songs on Christmas Day. I mean, everybody's different, but me personally, I like to extend it because it's my favorite time of the year. And starting with Thanksgiving and then going all the way through the holidays, and
I think that
another.
I'm sorry.
No, just survive another year. You get to January 1st and turn the page to another year, and just thank God I'm still here.
No doubt about it. I think that 4 days, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion, that 4 days of Thanksgiving, I've been blessed that usually able to take that Friday off, so that it gives you that 4-day weekend. That 4 days to me is a high.
Me
pretty
too,
good,
Jeff.
Pretty good.
Me too.
It's a really good, because there is some relaxation. It's not all hustle bustle those 4 days. Obviously, you're getting together with family. My situation, I get together with a group of friends that I usually don't see all year long.
Yep.
There's obviously good football. You're eating, drinking, married. Like those 4 days to me, I think they're a rock star out of the 365.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
My favorite 4 days of the year.
Is
Always
it really?
have been. Even it was different now because we don't have the big Thanksgiving at my parents' house anymore, which I really, really loved. As hard as that was, as much work as it was always one of the days that I looked forward to the most. That weekend has always been my favorite weekend, and now I changed a little bit over at the Eastern Shore for a few days. I absolutely had a great time. It was peaceful, it was fun, it was totally enjoyable on all fronts. So I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, and that's just the normal things in life. You can't. The things are gonna end.
Yeah. Well, I had to find something to clear my depression up.
No, I know.
I told my mom, I was really struggling that first Thanksgiving. I was like, what am I going to do? This is so weird. I don't have anywhere to go. We're not doing anything. I don't know. And I was like, I'm just going to the only place that I really want to be at, and that's Ocean City. So if I wasn't going to have the good event, I was going to do it. And
did you guys all
good for you, man.
go that following year?
Yeah. Every year since we stopped having it at Cedar Rocks, I've been there.
Yeah, so you just adjust and figure out other things to do and make other plans, because you don't want to just sit at home and be miserable. I mean, and then, like you said, Jeff, we all have friends and family that we can rely on and go and spend time with them.
Yeah, people are getting older though.
Yeah.
Man, I look at our family now. Wow, I go down a birthday list and I can't believe how old some of the Fudd and you guys and.
Ace will be 40 here in a few weeks.
I mean, that's just hard to believe. My brother, I'm 3 more years. Can you believe I'm gonna be 70?
We actually, Luke and I were just talking about this in our household. Actually, I think it was after the last Pine Room Day. First and foremost, there would be nobody that didn't know Mark Delbrook and would be like, "Oh, that dude's 67 years old. Not a shot."
I can't believe I'm going to be 70.
Does that bother you?
You know what? That's a good question. When I turned 50 and like in the 50s, I was starting to get a little, I don't want to say depressed, but like wasn't liking it. Like, but then when I got like to 61, 62, I said, you know what? I still feel good. I'm not going to let it bother me. I still can climb up and down a ladder. I can basically do all my chores around the house. I can still go out and have fun. So it doesn't bother me anymore. Now, 70 is starting to sound like, well, it's sounding like, and it is. It's
You're going to be in the same decade as Champ.
It's riding off into the sunset. I'm hoping that I have a few more left. But
well, I think you should look to your older brother and feel that as inspiration. And he's still going strong in his 80s.
And he still looks good.
Yeah, he looks great. He sounds great. He's not nothing mentally. He's he's no less sharp mentally. He's sharp as can be, and that's a good thing. So
yeah, that's my concern is mentally is where just so I don't fail there. I know my body's going to break down. It already is. My knees kill me, aches, and my thumbs. I have arthritis in my thumbs, and but I just don't want to lose that mental. And I am definitely losing it because my memory is awful, and I just can't. I don't remember names. I used to, if somebody told me their name, I'd never ever. Somebody tells me their name, they walk away. I forget it. And now you guys probably aren't that way yet.
I'm getting there.
That.
The last few years has accelerated my.
Well, yeah, you did say the other day that your memory,
just because I don't have any time to breathe. I feel I never valued free time more than I have in the last 6-7 years. It's just I was always busy, but. Like the older you get, the harder it is to cope with all that. And you got to have sleep or you can't function, and it's only going to get worse. So, but one guy we know that won't be spending Christmas with us, Chris, is your good friend Ed that you saw in the obituaries today. So, tell the listeners out there about this mysterious Ed that passed away.
Well, I don't really know who he was. I always check the obituaries, through Kepner. And,
that's another thing.
Kepner and the Altmaier, and then there was it was an incomplete. Obituary, but it just had, and most of the obituaries have a picture associated with them, whoever had passed, and this one just had a picture of a candle, and underneath it just said Ed. And I think it said that maybe the obituary was pending or the family was working on it, but I don't even know why it would be in there just as Ed. Ed died.
Whoever Ed is.
But there were no details other than
nothing. Now maybe tomorrow or the following day there'll be a complete obituary in there.
Now, do they call you when they update those?
Did it say
you're pretty plugged into these?
I bookmark them.
Okay. Did it say donations?
I didn't read that. No, I don't think.
I don't think it did either.
So I'm not making fun of that at all as far as Ed passing away. I just thought it was very odd.
Well, we don't even know who Ed is. We can't make fun of him.
No,
that's a good point.
But just saw that on their website and just thought that was very odd that it just had a...
Maybe the person who was writing it died.
I find myself
they didn't get to save it.
Looking at the obituaries more and more.
And seeing people you know.
Oh, geez. I mean,
we just lost Babe Schmidt.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I saw the other day.
Last Saturday. I've had I bet at least 15 to 20 guys and ladies that I've taught with that have passed away. That were very good friends. And very good friends of mine.
And when you talk about like letting age bother you, being 60 doesn't really bother me. But when you start seeing that, you read obituaries.
I could be next kind of thing.
Yeah, and like, when Pat died in May. I don't know how many classmates we've lost. I don't think it's been too many, but it's in our class from 1982. But there's going to be a run here, like where it's going to be more frequent just as we get older. I mean, and it's
hope
like
not. Hope not.
But and like Coach, we're like in the. I guess, would you say we're in the last chapter of our lives?
Oh, well, yeah, 100%.
No, I don't think so. I disagree.
Well, not the last.
I would say if it's a 4-chapter book, you're getting close to the middle of chapter 3, second
3 maybe,
yeah, 2
3,
or maybe even 2-3. I mean,
well, maybe I should be
still a lot
positive
left
about it because my dad was 56 when he passed, and Tim was 55.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know why an asshole like me is getting so lucky, but
Do you
I'll
guys
take it.
Do you guys believe in that death comes in threes?
I do.
I do
Sure
too.
seems
I
like
do,
it.
yeah.
It isn't it weird?
It's very weird.
I mean, that's why when someone close to you or around you dies, you're just thinking, "Oh boy, am I one of the three?"
Who's next?
Well, right. So when the second hammer drops, then you're like, okay, that's the
God.
second one.
Oh,
Well,
God.
Yeah,
Yeah. What about it? Am I going to be
I
number
better
3?
stay in for a few days.
Yeah.
But I think it's so weird how that happens, though. It's so weird, and it doesn't have to be like people in the same particular like walk of life, but it's someone here, and here that you knew,
Yep.
and somehow there were.
Even if you're not really associate, but if you
Right, they
just
weren't
say-
all like 3 school teachers or 3 people that worked with you or 3 it's somebody you knew that lived down the street, then somebody in the other neighborhood, and
somebody out the Grove, or
that
something,
you, but
just
you
that
knew them, but you knew them all,
right.
and you're like, oh boy, wow. So anyway,
Well, here's your glass half full, because I'll be honest, my father-in-law likes to get on a kick because obviously he's a little bit longer in the tooth. I think he's 83. And I'll be very honest, if you've seen him, you would have no idea that he's 83. Sometimes he likes to do the woe is me, and even our neighbors. I know they're not what they once were,
right?
But here's the deal. They're still very blessed people. And the industry that I'm in, I try to always give the fair and balanced. You know, come walk a day in my shoes and see a 67-year-old and see what their life is like and stuff like that. And I know it's easy for people to say and look at, but man, I tell you what, I think the 4 of us right now are very blessed individuals. Knock on wood, we're relatively healthy. Have a lot of supporting cast. And I know it's it's hard to look at it that way, but man, there are so many people that have it so worse.
Oh boy.
Absolutely.
Oh boy.
I mean, now granted, I know that it's easy to have those woes. I mean, that's what I tell my father-in-law. I'm like, man, oh man, if you had a fucking clue, like how blessed you are to be 83.
Right.
And I'll be honest, he's still mentally sharp.
Wow.
Still can he still cuts his grass, still works on his house. I mean, you need to shut the fuck up and just
there you go.
and live a good life, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark, is that your main concern? Though, and it is mine as I get older, that I don't want to have like my children having to take care of me, like where I'm just like, mentally lost.
100%.
Or physically, like, if you had to pick your way, you'd probably die in your sleep and nobody's bothered by it. I mean,
absolutely. I don't want to be a burden on anybody, and I don't want to lay there and just rot in bed, not knowing where I'm at, not knowing anybody, and just laying there vegetative.
Yeah, then people come to visit you and they were trying to talk to you, and like, he doesn't know what the fuck we're saying.
And I just feel so sorry for people that have partners that have Alzheimer's or dementia, and they've been like, I look at Tim McCormick, I feel so bad for him. Just a horrible thing to have your wife who was perfectly fine, and all of a sudden she doesn't know him, doesn't know herself. It's just awful. Oh, I think.
And he goes and he visits her regularly.
Sees her, and just
you just wonder. I mean, he's probably worse off when he leaves.
Yeah,
it's sad.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
that's a tough gig, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, I hope these aren't archived for down the road. But my wife has strict marching orders: needle between the toes, a little bit of insulin.
There you go.
Call it a fucking day. As long as you're not going to go to prison and you're not going to get in trouble. Like I think. And I know that you're not supposed to take God's will in your own hand, but I don't know how you guys feel. I am a huge Kevorkian thing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think at the end of the day,
100%.
And I know that there's the purgatory, that if you quote unquote take your own life, that you could be chilling out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
There's a heaven and hell and stuff like that. But I just don't. It's so inhumane the way that people have to live later in life. It's just not
terrible.
right. It's just not right.
Yeah,
I don't think. I think interpretation of that is open too, because and not to say that there's missing parts of the Bible, but the Bible could not account for, in the lessons that we learned as Catholics, it could not account for what we have today. And Jeff, you can speak to it better than I can about the disease and the things that we have today that no one ever even hypothesized could be a thing. We have so many things, whether it's because of our pollution, all kinds of diseases now that are running rampant, affecting people in so many other ways. We have the most unhealthy food system ever, and our own FDA stamps it every single day. And there's something to be said for that. So I feel like there's some leeway there with the Lord. I would hope that, you're not going to be penalized for that, because you can't you can't be expected to account for the changes in the way that humanity is in existence. And sometimes the most humane thing you can do is help someone peacefully pass. And that sucks. It's a terrible thing. I don't know how I would handle it. Like if I had to decide that for one of my loved ones, I don't know. But if that's what they really wanted, you just have to, bear down and do it for them. Like I don't think you're bad for doing that at all.
No.
It's not like you're taking advantage of, like you're putting a pillow over your mom's head to get her fortune.
Right.
Like it's it's so I want to hopefully think that the Lord would be willing to understand that you are the act that you're doing and that person's asking for are not selfish acts. They're to try to help somebody have a peaceful end, and that should be considered good.
I think that is a very fair statement, Matt. And I'll be honest, I'll go a little heavy on you guys. So I think I'm going to take think out of it. All four of us are God-fearing men. I don't think any of us are Bible beaters by any means. We all grew up in the Catholic school system and went to church on a regular basis at one point in time in our life. Unfortunately, we won't get into that song and dance on why we're fucking jaded with the Catholic religion right now. But my question to you guys is, do you think that I know you're not supposed to question God and you're not supposed to question his acts, but that is where if I have any doubt in my faith, minus the bullshit that the Catholic faith has done recently, I do struggle with quote unquote, if there is a higher power and it is supposed to be a good thing, how we can have to suffer at the end. And I know, I can't understand that concept, and I've never been able to understand that concept. But I guess I'm going to ask you guys that.
Well, I used to have conversations with my mother all the time about that. Like I just couldn't. I'd be like, Mom, if there's a God and and God is good and all this, well, why is there so many people? Why are there so many bad people? And to this day, I still question that because. It just, I don't know. I don't know what to believe in anymore. I mean, I still believe in God, but some of the things that just, these atrocities throughout this world, I just, as far as the higher power, I'm not, I don't know.
Definitely makes you question.
Yeah.
I would say.
Question my faith all the time.
But I'll talk to some priests before and ask them, are you allowed to do, like, is it all right? Does God expect it? And they say, yes, like he does. Like you should ask these questions. Even your mind can't understand what the plan is. None of us do. Apparently, our lives after this are supposed to be what we're living for now. So, I mean, it's really hard to put in perspective when you see someone there you love dying or just deteriorating before your eyes and you can't do anything about it. So it does. It makes you angry, and you can be angry, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, we all believe, and none of us know how this is going to turn out, but we all fear it, like you said, Jeff, and we all want to try to strive to be decent people here. And I think that we've all maintained that. So that is good. But I will say, I was pretty doubtful about a lot of things in the world until recently. And I will say, and I know, again, and not that politics can rise or sink the ships, but I was really questioning humanity as a whole and what we are as a species and how we've just squandered our existence. And then when Trump got shot at and he probably should have been dead, and I felt like that was a sign from God. And then he went on to win the election. I do. So to me, I've got a little bit more positively a little boost into my spiritual game over the last few months because of that. And it was a good example that I think that a lot of us needed, regardless of if you're a fan of his or not. You have to say it almost seemed like a divine intervention type event. And I think that to me gives me a little bit of hope that maybe things will start to turn around for the better, because we really, really need it.
Oh boy, our country's a little bit of a mess right now. Our little corner of the world isn't too bad right now.
Oh yeah,
to be honest with you.
Those damn illegals and these El Salvadoran gangs will be here soon. Thank God for Tom Homan and Trump.
Well, I tell you what, I think you're right, Matt. Though I think I am. The wifey and I talk about this a good bit. I do feel that we hear more about God now than we've had in a long time. Mm-hmm. I do think people are trying to find their faith a little bit more than they ever have, or excuse me, not ever have, but have in a long time. So I think it's a really valid point. I think people are getting, not all, but I think people are trying to get back to some core values when it comes to family and what really matters at the day to day. Your paycheck every 2 weeks, the house you live in, all that shit is it's irrelevant. But getting back back to the core values. I see us we're not there, but I feel like we're starting to.
We were getting ready to go off the end of the cliff, and we pulled ourselves back a little bit. So maybe we start to head the other way. But I think people are less afraid now. For whatever reason, I feel like this big burden got lifted off a lot of people, like of conservative values similar to ours. Not that we agree with that side on everything by any means, but I feel like God has been brought back to the forefront a little bit because of a lot of the people that Trump surrounded himself with. And as he was able to win, I feel like people said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm coming out and I'm going to say what I think, and I'm going to be very thankful to God and just not be afraid anymore to speak up against things that don't go along with our core values, is some of the extremely ridiculous, for lack of a better term, ridiculous behavior that we see out there in the world from some of these people. Not to specify anything, but you can use your imagination. But yeah, I think people are now saying, I'm not worried about this anymore. I feel like I can talk about things and speak up without being ridiculed. I think people feel comfortable doing it now more than they have in a long time.
Well, and the way we were too, like, for a long time there, weren't they taking like God and religion out of schools? You couldn't say the what's the one thing you say in the Pledge of Allegiance and all that, and got away. And these wackos that think that's a great idea, and that I don't know that stuff. I mean, hopefully they can bring some of that stuff back.
Would you call them wackos?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those around anymore.
Oh God, they're everywhere, and I just they're wackos, and not even the people that aren't wacko. There's so many of them that fucking have no common sense.
Well, I tell you who are wackos now, and I know you guys are going to agree with me, these owners of these teams. I want to shift gears here a little bit, and I want to talk about the wackos, the owners of these teams. How about Juan Soto's contract? Listen, how many years till it's a billionaire?
It's coming.
4 or 5.
5 years.
What's his up to? 751?
Yeah.
For 15 years. How old will he be at the end of 15 years?
Well, he's pretty young still. He's only 25.
So he'll be 40, though.
Yeah.
But how productive is he going to be when he's 35?
Unless he's like Albert Pujols. I mean, we'll see.
I think it's incredible. I was thinking about it today. I just think what he's making for what he's doing, and then I look at the doctors that are saving lives, and we've talked about this, guys trying to cure cancer, guys out out digging holes for peanuts, and just school teachers taking a shit they're taking now, and everybody that's making a difference in the world. And Juan Soto's what he's making. I saw
$6,000 a minute.
$6,000 a minute.
It's unbelievable. And actually, take it one step further. Luke told me last night, and this you guys would know more than I would, that he had an offer on the table for the Yankees for $5 million less.
$5 million less.
So when you talk about that kind of money, $5 million to us is a lot of money. But when you're talking $750 million, like, instead of staying with a team that is obviously you have surrounding players instead of going to them, like that.
I didn't know what the difference in contracts were.
I mean, is that not crazy? Wouldn't you, for $5 million, wouldn't you stay at the Yankees?
It is insane.
I mean, it's just unbelievable.
But their owners, I mean, so did that? Well, who's the owner? Cohen? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Did he just
Steve
come
Cohen.
in and say, "No, we're beating their offer"?
That's incredible.
And one of you guys, either Matt or Mark, made a comment today. I think you guys were talking about the high school playoffs and how it was a joke that everybody's in it.
Right.
A negative impact. When is this fucking madness going to stop in all these sports with these contracts?
Yeah, like when are we gonna like hit the plateau and then start to see some pullback?
And when are fans going to stop going and paying it?
That's the thing that bothers me.
They keep going and they idolize and worship.
Doesn't matter though. They have it set up so these are fail-proof businesses now. I mean, you really have to screw up because the revenue sharing that you get and the television contracts and the merchandising stuff. But everybody's in on it. So even the teams that don't even put any effort into it, Pirates, but they're going to make money, and so there's no way to prevent it. So there's no incentive for these owners to spend, and there's no incentive for the other owners not to continue to spend beyond belief because they're going to just continue to make it back hand over fist.
And each successive TV contract is higher than the last one. Yeah. So it could be $2 billion this year. Next year it's up for negotiation, and it's $10 billion or however many billions. And there's just no end in sight.
And what's sad is they don't give two shits about the fans.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't care about the fans. They don't care whether your favorite player leaves after 1 year. They don't care what they charge you for a hot dog. They don't care what they charge you for parking. They don't care about the normal guy that has 2 kids and a wife and wants to go to a ball game.
And then he'll sit at home and watch the game every night.
And works his balls off every day to make money so he can go watch fucking Juan Soto play. Who cares?
Right.
I'm starting to hate baseball, and I used to love it. Well, I'm starting to hate all sports.
Or even if you did that, and the same thing with the NBA, and you go and you work your balls off to afford the tickets, and you go and 3 of the stars
3 guys
that night,
don't play.
Load management, they're taking the night off.
Right.
Fuck those fucking pussies. It's fucking bullshit. You're right, Coach, and that's why
stupid.
We bitch about the sports all the time. It's ridiculous. They're in a whole fucking.
We saw it coming though.
Yeah,
we did. We definitely did. And I you know what, Chris? It's a rhetorical question, but I would love an answer though. Like
you can't get an answer. Love to sit down with a common sense individual and say, why? Yeah. Why did you guys do the NIL?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why did you do the transfer portal?
Who's going to be the first $100 million kid in college?
Right.
In the next 10 years, that'll happen.
Oh, without it.
Somebody will get $25 million for 4 years, guaranteed.
It's incredible. What we've said this, and I keep saying it. What morons could have went behind closed doors and said, "Hey, I think this will really work.
Great idea.
I think this is a great idea. I think it's going to give kids freedom. They're going to go where they want." Instead of saying no, just because they're not playing, what are we teaching them? Just go wherever you want to go. Or if I'm too good, now I can go sign for more money. Hell with the fans who followed you, your whole career, or kids buying your jerseys or worship you. Who cares about them? I've said it all along. The people that suffer the most are the fans. It's
so true.
It's disturbing. It is absolutely. But you know what? We'll sit there and honestly, if I didn't bet on games, or
you wouldn't even watch them.
I wouldn't.
Because I feel the same exact way. I don't even care about my teams that I love my whole life. I don't even care nearly as much as I used to. I really don't. And it infuriates me to a point. Jeff, I would say you're the most faithful of the 4 of us here as far as sticking with Notre Dame still. But would you say that you're less of a Steeler fan than you used to be? Is that so you see some 100%. Of that creeping in, but it's hard to cheer for these teams. It's hard to root for them. It's so upsetting and unrewarding. And like you say, Coach, you can't afford to go to the games
now you're hearing talks of West Virginia going to bring Rich Rodriguez back. Yeah. What is
Slap
that?
In the face.
That is the most unbelievable thing to me. If he is the head coach at Mountaineers, I swear I will never root for them ever. And who says he won't do it again? He did it once. He'll do it again if something nicer.
Going to use you as a springboard to go to the SEC.
If Alabama game comes, he's gone.
Yep.
And people are going to say, "Wow, it's great to have Rich Rodriguez back." Are you kidding me?
Well, this isn't the early 2000s currently in college football.
That's facts.
I don't know how good he'll do.
Well, here's the other thing.
Exactly. That's another thing.
Why even have contracts?
Right.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, they sign these contracts.
Shall be 1-year deals. Yeah. I've said that for a long time in all sports. Every coaching contract, everything should be 1-year deals.
Yeah,
but it never will be because the agents won't let them, and then there won't be any players. But if I would say the owner should dig the fuck in, they're the rich guys, and they should just stop and say, and even at the college level, these boosters and benefactors, dig in. Okay, you don't want this job, fine. We'll find someone that does want this job, and we'll find some player that does want to play. Juan Soto, you don't want to play? You want to sit out during your prime? Fuck you. Go ahead, sit out.
But it used to be a binding document.
Yeah.
It was a binding document. Yeah. You put the pen to the pad. It was a binding document that said, for a lack of better terms, you own me for 4 years.
Right.
So at the end of the day, that is just so worthless. And even these signing days, as a Notre Dame fan, and I told Luke the other day, I'm I'm so fucking tired of getting excited about these kids, quote unquote kid, and then all of a sudden, they're with you for 364 days out of the year. On the last day, they're choosing a different hat.
Yep.
And as a human being, and here's the deal, I know I've never felt that. I've never been a good athlete to know what it's like to be wanted like that. So I don't know. I mean, I would hope I wouldn't be that way. But I cannot imagine toying with somebody's emotions, the human element of that whole perspective on doing that to somebody. It just blows me away, man. Or how they even, some of these fucking idiots, they get up there and then they toy with people.
Yeah. Pretend they're putting on the school's hat.
And then they throw it away.
Awful.
There is zero
couth, It's all about me.
It's all about me.
Look at me. I'm going to fuck with you people. And you're right. It's...
Dessert is an essential part to a quality life, and quality desserts make life all the more better. Had a long day at work and you need something sweet? Maybe you're out late and you need the perfect snack to cap off your evening. Or you're just a dessert lover with a knack for the finest of sweet treats. Well, say hello to the Brownie House, home of the best brownies ever. A family bakery dedicated to baking the world's best gourmet brownies, baked with premium imported chocolate, high-quality ingredients, and no preservatives. No prepackaged, pre-made, fake-tasting chocolate, no. These brownies are made from scratch, shipped nationwide, and delivered right to your door. And starting right now, you can head to yesbrownies.com and use the code PINEROOM, all caps, during checkout to receive 20% off your order. For the best brownies and more, take a trip to the Brownie House.
And I just wonder if there's ever been like a time where, and I'm pretty sure the answer is no, because like you said, it's a binding piece of paper, and okay, well, a job's come up, but you know what? The coach says, but I agreed to stay here for at least 4 years, so I'm going to stick this out. Or am I going to say, fuck this contract? And, obviously he's got an agent, but like, is there a coach that ever just says that? Like,
Never.
You know what? I'm going to pass up that Alabama job and $10 million a year, stay here and, go 8-4 and make $4 million.
I don't think there's an example of that. Can you guys think of any?
Not
No.
even
The
close.
coach that stayed and
Nope.
when it came out in the news that he got a
No.
better offer. I'm sure there is somebody that we're forgetting about, but I think it can't be many.
And Matt, if I would have had a chance, I got to hear you talking a little bit. You guys were talking about the football playoff, and you've made comments before about the Mountaineers and how they could lightning in a bottle maybe every 10 years or whatever compete. And that it totally reminds me of Indiana this year.
Right.
Same thing.
That's exactly what it'll be.
And I don't know.
We'll
if
see
they'll
what that guy does.
Right. I don't know if he's, but they'll probably drop off and just go. I mean, I'm happy for Indiana,
Yeah,
but
I think they'll be a decent program,
They're
but I
one
don't
of
know if
those
they'll be this
schools
good.
like how the Mountaineers it's one of those schools that they're not going to be in the top 10.
I wouldn't doubt it. We'll see how good this guy is. But one thing that Indiana's got that the Mountaineers don't is that brand name. And in Indiana, I mean, it's obviously a basketball school, but man, that they got a lot of money at that university. So I think
when have they ever been dominant in college football?
No, never.
never, without a doubt, that's the most wins they've ever come close to having.
Yeah.
And respectfully, Matt, you aren't wrong about their quote unquote it's considered a basketball school, but fuck, that's one.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah,
I mean,
they think that was
they're not even
when
really
did
a
they lose?
basketball
When did
school
they
now.
lose to Maryland in 2003 or something? That's the last time.
So
Tom
they're
Coverdale.
They
I think,
haven't
was
been relevant in basketball.
I think
Well,
wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
They made it, but you're right, Jeff. That was like 1 year, and that since the Bobby Knight era, they've been pretty much nothing.
And I'll
That
take
was
go ahead.
funny. No, we talk about because you spent Notre Dame was always, and we would jack you guys and worm them. Like you guys are a basketball school now because you had so many down years.
And
in
they were a
football.
baseball school.
And
Yeah.
the women, baseball, and the women's basketball was good. And
No, it's true though. But actually, I know we talk about Dalbo Sweeney too, and I'm not saying I used to be actually probably a bigger fan of him because I liked his story and he came from nothing and this and that. What he's trying to do right now, and I respect it. He doesn't dip his toe in the water in the whole NIL stuff. Excuse me, in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
But you see his program has kind of fallen off. So
Sure has.
So you're
to be able to play to be able to play the game of college football now, if you don't buy into the structure of it,
absolutely
Can't win.
you can't
Not
win.
at the highest level.
Not at the highest level. So, right now, obviously he made the playoff, but it's kind of sad when you try to do it the right way. Quote,
I was just going to say,
It's
even,
hard to do it the
even
right way.
honest, good guys that want to do it the right way, if they want to keep their job, they can't.
That's exactly
You
right.
have to almost cheat. You have
Yes.
to go find. You have to go find, money somewhere from these rich tycoons, or you're going to lose your job because you
lose
can't
your job.
compete.
Yeah, you go through a stage of cognitive dissonance where what you're having to do does not set up with what your internal morals
Exactly.
are. Look at Nick Saban.
And-
If you got him down and got him to answer questions honestly, I guarantee you he's so disgusted with the landscape of college football. That's why he quit.
Absolutely.
He didn't want to do what he has to do right now. It is awful, the sleazy people that are in college football right now. It's disgusting.
And I love the contradiction now. I love, and obviously we'll bring up our boy Brian Kelly. Did you see him about a week ago? Everything that he talked about at that podium a week ago was everything that he did. Everything that he did. From a standpoint, he's talking about these kids leaving on the 23rd hour, talking about chasing money. He's a
Big time
he did
hypocrite
himself.
is what he is.
Like-
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting in front of the world?
Yeah.
And like,
it just shows you what kind of guy he is.
Hey,
Exactly.
well, breaking news, guys. Another big signing in Major League Baseball. The Yankees have now just signed Max Fried to an 8-year deal.
Lovely.
$218 million for a marginal
Lovely.
pitcher.
Lovely.
That's great.
But
That's
it is.
great.
It's like, it's so crazy that these guys, you know, get first and foremost, they get up there and they tell everybody what everybody wants to hear while they're taking the job. And then when the ball doesn't bounce the way that they need it to bounce and this and that, then all of a sudden the whole system's broken. But they played in that system to get to where they're at.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how many hypocritical statements you will see out there from college football coaches. Brian Kelly epitomizes what is wrong with college football.
Like,
he
would
is
you
a
say he's a top five
sleazeball.
Oh, he's got to be the worst. He is no good.
No.
He is no good.
That guy should probably have went to prison for involuntary
Fucking
manslaughter.
asshole.
Without a
And
doubt.
he got nothing for that, and doesn't seem to feel any type. If I went through something like that, and I was him, I would be so sorry. I would be living a totally different type of life than the way he acts.
He's just like, well, sorry, tough luck. It happens.
And
All
I'll
right.
tell you, the other one last thing real quick about that is these buyout clauses. Like these golden parachutes and it's not just football. I mean, you're talking executive level stuff and pharma companies and big businesses that they get paid this kind of money just to go away.
Just go away.
Just to go away. Like the common folk, like all of us. I mean, like I know that it's not meant to be set up that way, but that golden parachute, man, I just don't understand the golden parachute.
What do the schools think when they sign these people? Or the companies? What are you doing? Nobody's worth that. Nobody's worth that.
Nobody.
Because
let's be honest. How many of these coaches would you say in college football have been successful in the last 20 years? Like less than 1% probably, right? Nick Saban, Kirby Smart on to the newer era, but even Nick Saban went through bad times. He had bad
Urban
previous
for a
stops.
while.
Urban Meyer for a
Urban.
brief period. But like how many guys were long-term successful, like 10 years plus or equal to that? Like nobody. So no one is worth this money. All these guys who, Jeff, if they were doing a good job, they wouldn't be getting bought out.
Oh, and that's true. And to bridge this to the real world, and before I say this, what happened to that president and CEO of UHC is horrible. Nobody should be gunned down on the street because of a title. But here's the fair and balanced of it all. If you're on the receiving end and your mom, your dad, your loved one got denied a claim and they end up dying, I can see where people's light switch goes a little like, I mean, here's the deal. It's wrong.
No, I agree 100%.
There's family that's involved in this and that. But when you are able to go on a website and see that this cat makes $50 million a year and all these big bonuses and this and that, I can see where people's trigger goes a little wiry and goes, this ain't fucking right, so I'm going to take this into my own hands. It's not right. It's sad, but I'm not justifying it, but I see where, I don't know, man.
And the people that are making this dude into a hero may have had relatives, friends turn down a claim that is costing their life or isn't helping him. So that's the people that are saying this guy deserves it. Did he deserve to be shot down? No, absolutely not. No,
not even close.
But but it does make me kind of understand what they're thinking. Where you could go down that road where you want to seek some revenge.
Yeah, but like Matt said, if you condone that, Jesus, somebody that doesn't like you for
we talked about it on the radio. Yeah, it opens the door for dangerous behavior. And I'm with you, Jeff. Like I have a lot of questions about a lot of industries, not just health. But there's a lot of questions there. These people make ridiculous salaries. Our government does us no favors. They put us in a position where these people can thrive and take advantage of people. It's totally wrong. But you can't execute people in the street.
No.
Like, I wish they would find dirt on him and his company and he would go to prison. And you know what? If that's a death penalty crime, I'd be cool with it. But executing people in the street then makes it seem like, okay, we can do this all the time. And
that's not good.
Regardless if that guy deserved it, he may well have. But he didn't deserve it in that form. And you got to be careful because, like Coach was alluding to, here we go. Tomorrow, I don't like your politics, here back of your head, and then people are telling me I'm a hero. Now, that poor Daniel Penny guy who saved people's lives on the freaking subway was treated like a villain for months now by the stupid liberal media, and now this guy today is being labeled as a hero that shot that guy in the back of the head.
Absolutely.
It's just something's off here, and it obviously has something to do with which side of the aisle you're on. It shouldn't, but it does.
And I do have one personal situation to talk about how I don't ever justify people's behavior. I think as a human being that you should have enough self-awareness. We use that term a lot in this room, that, you just can't act on things the way that you want to act on things.
Right.
So,
God.
Here's the personal situation where I can understand, why people flip the fuck out. So we just finished our rec room and we had Best Buy come up. And I don't know if you guys know this, Best Buy does not have Geek Squad anymore.
I didn't know that.
It's outsourced. So this would be
third party.
So I'm sure you guys can see the avenue that I'm going down right now. So the moral story, I think this is the fourth TV that Best Buy has hung in our house. And I'm going to be very honest with you. The first three scenarios, I couldn't ask for a better scenario.
Okay.
Like professionalism, did a great job, did everything, customer service, absolutely wonderful. So now it's a third party. First and foremost, to get even a schedule now to get the service done is fucking brutal.
Did they speak English?
You dealt with the store at least, so that helped. But
okay.
And I'll make this as quick as I can. So the moral of the story, they obviously set you a date, and they give you the windows like every other fucking place.
Yeah.
So our window was 12 to 3. At 4:15, we still did not hear anybody yet. We're scrambling in my house.
And they didn't call you?
They don't call us to check in, this and that. Not. So then the fact of the matter, we're sweating it at the household because we had a dinner meeting that we had to get to.
But your time invaluable.
Our time's not valuable. And once again, just a phone call, like you said, Marcus, just to say, hey, we're running a little bit behind. Do you need to reschedule? Do you have anything going on? But no, your whole life is revolved just hanging out at your house. And to boot, when you do live a busy life and you have things going on that you probably need to be getting done because the working class works.
You're right.
So then that handcuffed the wifey to be at the household all day, this and that. So the moral of the story, 4:15, we finally called Best Buy. Best Buy gets a hold of the third party. And they said they will be calling you, but quote unquote, they're getting done with their last job. So when they finally called, the wifey pretty much was like, hey, you know what? We do have this previous engagement that we have to get to. When do you guys think you'll be here? Exact words. We'll be there in 15 minutes. Take it or leave it. Okay. So that set the tone. So
they said take it or leave it?
Take it or leave it kind of thing. So this is third party. Okay. So obviously, at the end of the day, you got to swallow your pride, because the last thing you can do is flip your shit because they're coming to your house and drilling holes into your walls.
Yeah,
This and that. So if you piss these people off, so the moral of the story, they show up, they take all your information up at Best Buy on what your house is like, what the situation is with the driveway. So why waste my time? So I told them, hey, my driveway's long, just pull around the back. It's so much easier. I have French doors. You can bring the TV that way, just a lot easier. Bring the doorbell in the front door. Mm-hmm. That makes fucking sense. Why did we have this fucking conversation?
There we go.
So immediately in your mind right now, this has been a really negative start.
A negative start, period. So then I said, hey, fellas, I said, I'll be honest with you. If you want to evaluate the situation, it might be easier for you guys to come in the back. And I said, the other thing is, where are you guys? And Luke had to referee that night. And Luke was getting ready to leave here in about 30 minutes. So they had my driveway occluded, and they had a big ass truck with a big ass pool behind it. They stored all their probably the TV and shit was in. So I said, two things. I said, please evaluate the situation, whatever's going to make your guys' life a little bit easier. But the moral of the story, no matter what, here in 30 minutes, my son needs to get out of this driveway because he's got a game tonight. That obviously didn't set the tone well, because obviously then I'm fucking pissing in their Cheerios.
Oh, boy.
So they get downstairs and I said, hey, I understand that you guys are running a little bit behind. I explained our situation. I said, how long do you think this is going to take? This and that. You would have thought first and foremost that I was asking for their third born child, because I'm just asking a normal question.
Right.
So nothing. One of the dudes was kind of quiet. The one dude was a total fucking penis. When I tell you a total fucking penis, I actually called him Bud one time, and he looks at me and goes, my name's not Bud. My name's Josh.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, I didn't even have any words for him. Like, I literally just looked at him square in the eyes, because once again, they're in your house getting ready to drill holes. I'm trying to be as delicate as much as I wanted the time to go fuck himself and go on my merry way. I need them at that time.
Yes.
If I could do it myself, I wouldn't be paying the money to have somebody come do it.
Exactly.
So the moral of the story, I said, hey, everything, I know that you guys aren't Geek Squad. I said, but the way that it was before, like when you guys leave this house, everything's going to be up and running. He looks me square in the eyes. He goes, there's a reason why there's not a Geek Squad anymore. I said, okay, I understand where you're going with that.
So they're just hanging the TV.
I said, I said, but I understand that you're not Geek Squad. I said, but you didn't answer my question. I said, I will be able to use this TV when I leave. his exact words for me, "We're here to hang your TV."
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I said, "But sir, I paid for the service of exactly what I paid for the 3 previous TVs. And when they left, I was able to work my TV." He goes, "Once again, I'm here to hang your TV." So I left it alone. So, they're doing their thing and they don't come with any supplies now. So at the end of the day, if you don't have, like the Geek Squad, at least when they were on their truck, like if you needed an HDMI, if you need whatever you needed, they had to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you had to pay for it. So, but the moral of the story is we had a couple HDMI cords that weren't long enough. So they were only able to fish one HDMI cord through the back of my wall. So that left me hanging with my surround sound. That left me hanging with my DVD and he said to me, "It's a pretty easy process to be able to fish." And I looked at him. I said, "Well, if it was a pretty easy process, then I wouldn't have you guys here right now doing this."
Right.
So then the cool part about it, the TV got hung. Obviously, none of my shit was, I had to set up my DirecTV box. I had to set up my remote control. I had to do everything that quote unquote I paid for. The kick in the dick part is the fact of the matter, I was in such a hurry and I'm sweating bullets because I had to get somewhere. I didn't really evaluate the situation. Walls are freshly painted because we just gutted our rec room. We get there later on, after we get done with our dinner meeting, we go downstairs to kind of see the fruits of the labor, this and that. I check out my wall. I have like 4 or 5 fucking dungs in my fucking wall where they fucking hit the TV up against the wall.
Oh my God.
This is infuriating.
Yeah, I'll be honest, you have no idea. So the moral of the story is, so then I'm trying, as we go up, I want to get on the horn I didn't know about the dings in the wall, but I wanted to call somebody from Best Buy right away. So on the way to the dinner meeting, I trying to get on the phone with Best Buy. Here's the Best Buy. Guess what about it? Best Buy doesn't have phones anymore. You can't call.
Wonder why?
You can't call into Best Buy store.
Oh,
you can't.
God.
Do you know who this third party service is?
I do not.
Okay, I was to say.
So did you ever get in
name them
touch
right here?
with?
So very quickly, so I ended up having to drive up on Saturday to Best Buy, explain the situation, talk to a manager.
Again, waste your time.
Waste my time. And then at the end of the day, they do everything. They don't even have a direct line to their third party.
They probably have no idea who those people were.
They do everything through Microsoft Teams.
Right.
So he documented everything
automated.
in Microsoft Teams. And this was the manager's exact words to me. "You know what, Jeff? I'm able to see their protocol is they are supposed to call you within an hour. I'm able to see on my end if they don't call you within an hour. My promise to you is I will call you in an hour to kind of just touch base." We sat there, me and Luke were there. We were watching college football the other day. No fucking phone calls on Saturday. No fucking phone calls on Sunday.
From anybody.
From anybody. So I ended up driving back up on Monday.
Oh, my God.
good
Driving back
Lord.
up on Monday because you can't get a hold of anybody. Moral of the story, I'm starting to get somewhere now. But I guess the reason why I'm sharing this story with you, if I was not of sound mind, sound mind and rational thought process, I'm not justifying anybody that goes in and does a mass shooting. I'm not justifying any of that.
See how
I can see where somebody's trigger when you're getting fucked around and you spend that kind of money on a new TV, a new service, on why people go in and fucking do what they do.
Do what they do.
If you weren't of sane mind, you might have taken a drill to Josh's eyeballs while he was in your
That's
basement.
exactly right.
That infuriates me, Jeff. My heart's pounding. I'm really angry. Like, that makes me mad.
It's incredible.
I hate that. It's like what you went through with your fucking freezer.
7 times
Bullshit.
7 times I dealt with them saying
Those are giant companies, Best Buy and Home Depot.
like telling me they'd call. No call. I'll get back to you, man. Same kind of thing.
It's unbelievable,
You
though.
would think that, like, and I guess that third
No
party,
pride.
they don't give a
They
fuck.
don't give a fuck.
Because, like, if that was just us and we just started up a company like that or whatever, customer service where they were depending on us to show up, and we're going to be late, I think we're all fucking intelligent and courteous enough. Hey, look, we told them we're going to be here at 4. We're running late. Let's call them right now. Give them a heads up. I mean, that just only makes sense, and it's the right thing to do. But again, they don't care.
I wouldn't walk out of that home without you having everything perfect.
And the other thing
It's
is what we talked about in my household last night. If you could have the buying power, and obviously that's not a rational statement, but if we could have the buying power as a group to be able to purchase from Sony, Panasonic, and all that, and obviously the mind, somebody that's handy like you, can you imagine if you started a business?
Oh, geez.
I was just thinking, I guarantee it, like, we could do that for you in it would be like I could say Jobs hung TVs. I know. I mean, we could all do that. We could.
No, but my point, and I appreciate that. But can you imagine the amount of money that we could make if we just did everything opposite of what
they
fucking
did.
Best Buy does,
Yeah.
and treat people normal,
treat people
reliable,
honest.
honest, and stuff like that? I seriously think we could make a killing off the service. Unfortunately, we'd make no money off the TVs.
Right.
How much? So
Right.
it's just,
I agree with that 100%.
So if you even just say, for instance, you go up there and you purchase your TV, and you get home and you realize, fuck, I think I left my cell phone on their counter when I was checking out. You can't call them.
Can't call them
and say, hey, did I leave a phone?
Nope. They said, quote unquote, and this infuriated me even more, and you'll love this. When do you think they stopped having somebody at the store answering phones?
Well, probably
Because everybody uses
probably
this in the-
COVID.
Yeah, and then they never brought them back. Yeah.
Everybody uses that word as the excuse.
Oh,
Our world has
COVID's
changed.
it's
COVID
excused
changed it. We
everything.
don't have, and they said they downsized up at the store, so now they don't have enough people to be able to answer the phone. And the best part about it is when I took my sorry ass out of there last night. As I looked around, and I know those types of stores are the ebbs and flows. They probably have their run of people where they're fucking crazy busy, and then they probably have some downtime. There's 5 fucking associates literally just with their thumbs up their ass, dicking around, having some fun, which good for them, but you can't tell me that you don't have fucking somebody that you could pay to answer that motherfucking phone.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable.
Guaranteed.
And all the things that maybe
Wow.
would cut and maybe scale back on, that wouldn't be one of them.
No. Because I agree with him. I think you were going to allude to something. They don't want to answer the fucking phone.
They don't.
They don't want to
definitely
answer the
don't.
phone. They don't
They
wanna
know
hear
their
that
product
shit.
is falling off, and
Yeah,
they don't want to
fuck
get
them.
yelled at.
It's unbelievable, man.
Absolutely.
So
what
there's
it
my
is.
song and dance. No,
That's interesting. I'm
Interesting
glad.
story.
That's excruciating.
And now it's like you don't even want to go there.
Yeah. But here's the problem. So if you need that service, you can't go to Sam's. I mean, you could go to Sam's and buy the TV, but then you still, if you're a dumbass like myself that's not handy at all, I still need to pay somebody.
To
So you
install.
might as well go buy the TV where
Yeah.
you're going to have the service to be able to hook it up and everything. But yeah, it's
So what about the dings in your wall? You just gonna?
they're gonna put a insurance claim. Actually, I've finally got on to the right people. Thank God. I actually
Doesn't it feel good, though, when you find somebody that you can
Yes.
talk to that speaks English, A,
two people I got.
yes, would speak fluent English that you can understand. And you just have that feeling these people really care. They feel bad about what's happened. They're going to take care of me.
And I told them on the other end, I was not dicks to them because I knew that wasn't going to bode well for me too.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I gave them the true rational A to Z on exactly what happened. And I made sure that I made it very clear to them. I'm sure you deal with a bunch of dickheads on a daily basis. I promise you that is not this household. That's number one. And number two, this isn't a money grab. I'm not looking for money.
Right.
I'm not looking for a free service. I'm just looking for what I fucking
you want
paid for.
Exactly.
That's all I want.
You probably would have paid $100 more for the whole thing to go away and be easy.
I went through that thing with my freezer. I said, I don't want anything more than I've paid for.
That's
I
it.
already paid for it. I just want the freezer. But after the 6th or 7th time, I said, you folks are going to make this up to me somehow because you cost me time. Because I'd leave my paint job and go home and they wouldn't show up. We tried to get there. No,
They went the wrong road.
Wrong the road. We couldn't. It said we couldn't get up this way. I said, I've told you 3 times that's not the way to go. They keep setting their GPS and it brought them up Riley Hill in a box truck instead of going Cherry Hill and back down around. 3 times they told me. At the end, I said, you guys are going to compensate me for this somehow. I ended up getting a free freezer out of it, but I would have gladly paid for the freezer to have it delivered and done the first time.
right?
It took me almost a month to get a freezer, and the countless hours I spent on the phone and then on hold waiting for somebody to answer, and then dealing with a third party group that A, couldn't speak English fluently, and B, didn't give a shit about
And
me.
how and not only that, how stressful was it? Your blood
Oh, it was
pressure?
unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And to boot, my old freezer was sitting in my backyard for a month, sitting in the backyard.
Actually, one last thing.
You
This
match
was-
the neighbors down the street that just have shit everywhere.
It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
there you go. Exactly.
But I told him it was in the front yard, but it literally was blocking my walkway in the backyard. But I said, I've had a freezer sitting in my front yard for a month now, and nobody cares.
One last thing that this will be the cherry on top. So my experience of buying the TV, the dude that we bought it off, actually a really good dude, just very solid dude. He even told me that they've had a lot of hiccups with this third party, and he was very honest and transparent. He did tell me, if you have issues, you let me know. I'll come refund your money. But the part that actually bothers me now, and looking back retrospectively, he handed me a fucking business card with the fucking number of quote unquote Best Buy to fucking call him up there.
No, and they didn't have a phone.
They don't have a fucking phone. So the 304-243 number goes to a fucking call center. So here's the deal. I'm starting to second guess myself. Am I just fucking that goddamn slow right now that I don't know like what's going on? Yeah,
that's classic.
Jeff, real quick, back to your story. So how did you? What steps did you have to take, or how did you get to the right people where you started making headway with this whole thing?
Finally, when I stopped up yesterday and I explained to the third dude that this is my how many trips up here. I need something to happen because it's truly an inconvenience for me to have to drive up here. He told me that he would call me back, but they finally did. They called me within an hour, and I got this Mo lady who was from corporate on the line, and she was extremely solid. On my way home today, coming down here, she also got me involved with a Vince who's from corporate, and two very solid people that want to right the ship, to make things right. But they're throwing their own company underneath the bus.
They are.
Because they know that there's problems, because that's these guys' jobs is quality control, damage control.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, they're trying to make it right. So I think I'm on a good path, but it just shouldn't be this way.
100%. It's a rough. I had it.
No end in sight. It's only going to get worse.
That's honestly what I was going to say. It's not.
It will never improve again.
No, and it's so bad.
It's these third party outsource companies that they're going to that none of them speak English. They're all just over here, and they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me.
Nope.
They don't care what they do to your house. They don't care how it's hooked up. They're just going to get it there, go to the next stop, be done.
Well, and I did that when I bought what I get a dishwasher and a stove, and it was a third. I think I got it from Lowe's, but it got just a plain white box truck. Box truck shows up. It wasn't a Lowe's truck.
Yeah,
two guys get out, and one of them, they don't. They're just dressed however they want to dress, and like. You don't know, they have good intentions. You don't know. You just look at them and think, Jesus, and then the job was done correctly and I was satisfied. But man, you're right.
It's incredible.
It's bad.
It's unreal.
Yes, it is.
It's fun stuff.
That's a good story, Jeff. Sorry you had
sorry it went long.
No, I enjoyed that because I think people need to know that. That's a helpful thing to know that Best Buy does not have phones. So if you want to call about a TV that they have in stock or a part they have in stock up at the Highlands, you literally can't talk to someone there.
You got to go physically.
That is so bad.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's unbelievable.
So bad. Hey, you got this 52-inch TV on sale. Do you have it in stock? Then you got to go call center in.
So when, like you said earlier about the college football people thought the NIL was a good idea. Who thought that was a good idea?
Right.
At their company.
Honestly.
And these are the people that own, these are some of the people that own these pro sports franchises.
Honestly, I think
the Home Depot guy owns the damn Falcons.
I think, honestly, the biggest thing is missing, no, I can't say the biggest. One of the biggest things that's missing in this society is common sense.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Common sense does not exist. I don't give a shit how smart you are, how much you know about this. If you don't have common sense, to me, you're a dick.
Yeah.
You're a dick. If you can't make common sense decisions that aren't adversely going to affect a massive amount of people, why are you in that position? You should not be. These idiots that are running businesses and the people that were running the school systems, they would make the dumbest decisions and not ask the people that are in the trenches every day that have common sense, that know what's the best things for the kids, the teachers.
How does this happen?
I don't know, because people that are making a lot of money think they're better than all of us.
They look down.
No doubt about it.
They all think they're
problem.
better than us, and I can't. I'd get on another rant about like seeing people's pictures on Facebook and showing where they're at and who they are, and blah blah blah. Just along those lines, that everybody thinks if they make money and they're in a high, they're better than you.
Yep.
They're better than you.
Yep.
They do. They think they're better than you.
100%. It's without a doubt.
Fuck Juan Soto. He's not better than me.
100%.
Hey, have him go and do what we do 8 hours a day every goddamn day. Have him do it. See how long he lasts.
And if the sad thing
Dickhead.
about it, the moves that these people make are cost-saving moves. So at the end of the day, they took Geek Squad out to be able to
Absolutely.
to
Profits over people.
Well,
but here's the
no
deal.
question about that, Chris.
But here's the problem. It just costs Best Buy, because here's the deal. They've already
100%.
They've already told me they're going to compensate me. So I'm probably going to get the installation for free, and then they're going to put an insurance claim on my wall.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, so whatever they saved, they're going to probably be paying me back out too.
100%.
They just hope enough of the people that get fucked over like you don't call and bitch and
And
complain.
that's 100% true.
And that's what they're banking on, and they think they'll come out ahead in the long run.
And you're not wrong, Matt.
And I wonder if that's even discussed when they have meetings. Like they know that. Do they openly say that, or just?
I'm going to
or
vote
is it
yes.
just in
I'm
their
going to vote
mind that
no.
they
I'm going to
just
vote
know
yes.
that-
I think in the right, it may be not for everybody's ears, but when it gets to that intimate moment with that maybe group of five that are their true 5 final decision makers, hands down, that's fucking being said. Without a doubt, it's being said.
It's said
It's
like
a-
that in a lot of companies.
Well, that's what I say. Even like insurance claims. We just had Luke just got his wisdom teeth pulled out in August. And to be able to get reimbursed, we have 2 dental insurances in our household. For us to get reimbursed our money, it was like fucking going against North Korea.
It's
But here's
unbelievable.
you're not wrong. They want people to say fuck it.
Fuck it.
And at the end of the day, and then they profit.
That's
yeah.
a business plan of, and I've heard people on record say this is they if they make things difficult on you as the consumer, eventually like 7 out of 10 of us are going to just give up.
Yeah.
And they will make money off of you. It's like that everywhere. Everywhere. It's horrible.
I like this, and it's not as bad, but it's on the same. And this has always been something that's bothered me. The Menards 11% off sale, and this is totally different than 11% off. Do you know how that works? You guys know how that works, right? The 11% off.
Well,
they
you have
just
to
jack up the price and
The sale is, they say it's 11% off, but you go in and you pay the regular price, but you have to fill out a rebate form and send. So how many people that spend money there actually take the time, to fill out the rebate form, send it in, and then when they get it back, they put it somewhere so they remember to take it and get the sale, or get that $11 off of the sale. So to me, it's not a sale.
No.
It's not a sale. A sale
It's
is
a gimmick. It's like a bait and switch.
It's a gimmick. So it's what you just said. How many people say, fuck it, I'm just going to pay that price?
I wouldn't. Most of the time, I wouldn't.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they lure me in, and you end up spending full price.
And you full price, and you take your sales slip, and you say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this," but
and
then you get
never
busy,
do.
and then you can't find
it's
it.
$11 or whatever.
11%, but
yeah, whatever it would be.
11% of $500 is $55. If you're, so it's just a gimmick again.
That's all it is.
To get people to.
What do you think? 2 out of 10 would do?
Oh, I'd say at most, and I'm pretty good.
My
about
mom
doing
would be
stuff.
the one that would do
I'm
it.
pretty good about doing stuff like that, and I may do it once every 3 times I'm there, but the other 2 times I said, nah, I don't feel like even pissing with it, and it's just. But again,
that's a really good point. And at the end of the day, I don't think any of us are against capitalism. I think it's great that the fact of the matter that people can make money and people.
Oh yeah, great.
This and that. But
crony capitalism.
But that's what I was going to say. You know what? Our government wants to put all these rules and regulations on our household. Why can't they reel that kind of shit in? It's smoke and mirrors, or it's really at the end of the day, it's some really false fucking advertising.
And that's what it is.
I mean,
we're kind of fucked.
We are
You
fucked.
alluded to it earlier. You don't have any other options.
You know.
No.
What other electronic stores that offer any type of service, third party or on site, are around here? There's nothing left.
That's
Right.
I mean,
the problem.
Circuit City's been gone for years. There was another one over at Chris. You might be over at St. Clairsville. Had letters something. But anyway, there's nobody else left.
Yeah, nobody.
So
Nobody.
you have no choice. We're not in a major metropolitan area where you have like 6 different options. We don't have any of that. So you're screwed.
You screwed.
You're done. If
Sad.
you can, you either do it yourself, have somebody that can help you do it, or you're paying for a miserable 3-4 days like you had.
Xfinity has us over by the
Oh
balls.
my Lord!
They got us by the
like
balls.
waterboard you, and then I mean it's like what Jeff and I got DirecTV, and that isn't much different.
No, it's
No, it's not different.
We're waterboarded on a daily basis. It's just a matter.
incredible.
Are you going to succumb, or are you going to finally say I'm done and I'm getting to the?
Yeah, right.
But then they're like, oh well, then they give you something that might be worth keeping. It's terrible. It's not what the way things were laid out, but we had rules. There used to be laws about monopolies and things like that, but those don't really apply. It's just about who can get who richer faster.
This episode basically should be just labeled consumers getting fucked.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a great point. It really is. I think that's a
Merry
good title.
Christmas.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, back to this theory about bad customer service. Perhaps Ed, our guy that we talked about in the obituary, maybe his family didn't submit or pay the fee for the obituary to get
You have
listed.
to pay that up front?
Yeah, I probably.
So he doesn't get a last name.
So he doesn't get it. Yeah,
In the last name.
so maybe they.
Anonymous Ed.
Yeah.
So sad, fellas. So
All
sad.
right. Well, thanks.
Happy holiday season.
Thanks we hope we
Very
put a
festive.
smile on your face.
I hope when everybody gets their Best Buy gift cards in the mail or they get the TV from Best Buy, they think of Jeff and
Give them back.
hopefully
Buyer
figure out a
beware.
way to do better than he did. Poor guy.
And don't go to a baseball game this summer.
Yes.
Boycott it. We might start a like a picket line or some kind of boycott. Try to get the stadiums to boycott.
Chris, any last thoughts?
No, I just with everything about what you guys were saying, it's we're getting fucked over.
Well, if only
It-
if Kamala had won the election.
No.
yeah, but we are turning the corner. I think I'm feeling a lot better.
Yeah, I would agree
There's
with
Miss
that.
Carrie Fado Woods.
Yep.
I didn't see this commercial before.
Well,
Has she been on here before?
Oh, 1,000%.
she has, yes.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
1,000%.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's going to do it for us. Episode,
Thanks,
139?
guys.
139.
139 is in the books. The old guys here. It's time for our bedtime.
Yep.
So we're getting close. Have a wonderful weekend. And I believe we'll have probably a Christmas edition of the show coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
But if
Maybe a little
the
more
old
festive.
guys aren't on anymore before the Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Happy
and
holidays.
holidays,
Don't shop at
Yes.
Best Buy. We'll see you next week on the Pine Room.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Peace.